Back on the Peter King podcast. So happy to be joined by Adam Thielen, wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, coming off a big game on Monday night. Adam Thielen is, with a couple of touchdown grabs, helped the Vikings advance to 4-5, which still sounds so weird. Obviously I expect you to be 7-3 or something at this point, but whatever. You're playing very, very well as a team right now on a winning streak, and happy to be joined by Adam. Adam, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay. So I want to ask you, we're going to get to some questions about Thanksgiving, which is coming up, and something that you do with your foundation, which I think is really cool, as so many players in the NFL do. But I want to start with football, and I want to ask you, if you can, to just tell me what it was like for you guys as a team to start off so poorly. And then I think especially the loss to Atlanta at home, and then going and having your bye week right after that. You had to be thinking, man, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely frustrated. Definitely wasn't where we expected to be or wanted to be. When you put a lot of work and effort and you got a lot of great talent and great coaches in your locker room, it hurts even worse when you don't meet expectations. You don't play the way that you can. But we also, the other side of it was, we had a lot of great leaders in the locker room that were just, everybody was positive. Even guys that haven't been around a lot, that aren't used to losing. Everybody was just positive. Everybody was excited to get back to work. And that's not always the case. I've been around other teams where it's not going well, and fingers start get pointed, things like that, and that was not the case. So I think that's the main reason why we've been able to have some success this last couple of weeks, because no one panicked, no one lost hope. Everybody just kind of focused on themselves, trying to get better and going to work every day to help the team win.
So what would you say if I asked you the difference between the Vikings team, that started so poorly, and the one that has rebounded in the last month?
Yeah, I think it's just confidence. I think guys are playing with confidence right now. We trust one another that we're going to do our job to help the other person make a play, and our defense is playing great. Our offense is being able to use a lot of different weapons. Spread the ball around. Be able to run and pass, which is obviously important in this league. We're able to flip the field position, things like that we always talk about. Those are the things that we talk about in the offseason. We talk about what has helped us win in the past, what's helped and what has made us lose games in the past. It's always comes down to those things, right? Being complementary football team, being able to do those little things to help the team win and be successful. So, I'd say that's the biggest difference. But the other side of that is kind of what I talked about is it really hasn't changed that much. I think it's just that we've trusted the process, and it's taken a little bit of time. We have a lot of young guys that are playing some key positions that, it just takes a little time, especially this year with no OTAs, no training, a shortened training camp, no preseason games. So that is also a big factor.
I also look at what you've done the last 3 weeks, really, in basically trusting Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. To me, you have to realize kind of what your team is. And I think one of the ways you guys really improved last year, with all due respect to your passing game, is you basically didn't have Kirk Cousins passing it 40 times a game, where you realized, hey, let's play clock ball a little bit. Let's possess the ball. Let's let these great runners do what they do. And now the last 3 weeks, I don't know how many times you guys have run it the last 3 weeks, but it's got to be close to 100. And I think, especially when you have physical pounding backs the way you have, especially in your division, I think that really is a great way to play football. And I know it's a way that Mike Zimmer likes to play football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that's obviously important, is time of possession. I think that in this league, you can't just sit back and drop back, 30, 40 times a game. You just can't do that and expect to be successful. So, we know what our strengths are on this team. We know that we have one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the NFL. We have an offensive line that is just playing extremely well right now and playing really well together. And then when we have to throw the ball, we have plenty of weapons, and Kirk's able to spread the ball around, find different guys, and those are things that people don't really talk about a lot, but really help your team be successful on Sundays.
I want to ask you a little bit about Justin Jefferson, and I think a lot of people, when you made the trade of Stefon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills, obviously he was a great player for you guys. To replace him with the same draft pick that you got from Buffalo with another receiver, it automatically puts some pressure on this young kid coming in. He's still only 21 years old, I think. And I wonder, tell me, especially without a normal off-season program, Justin Jefferson, who has got, averaging 18 yards a catch, is at 42 catches so far. How has he been able to hit the ground running?
Yeah, it's honestly been extremely impressive. I forget that he's only 21 years old because he's not playing like it. He's a special player. He's a great person in the locker room. He's always got a smile on his face, always having fun. And when he gets on that field, he's a special football player. So thankful that we had him on Monday night because he saved us in some big spots and made some huge plays at crucial moments. So. We're going to need him to continue to do that because he's a big part of this offense and a big reason why we've been able to win some games these last few weeks.
In modern football, people probably don't realize it as much or don't think about it as much. But the thing I find most interesting about the way the system works, it really rewards teams for bringing in players on rookie contracts who can play so well. And I mean, Stefon Diggs this year, his cap number is, I don't know, maybe 14 million, and Jefferson's is maybe 2.5. And that'll continue for the next, say, 3 years. And I think the one thing that your team does and does well is that it's a pragmatic team. I think Rick Spielman understands that sometimes, even though Stefon Diggs made huge plays for your team, maybe it's better to go with the youth, go with the more manageable cap number, particularly when the cap might be, hitting a big dive in 2021. So I think all around that was a smart move for your team. How did you see it?
Yeah, it's obviously a business, and that part of the of football I don't really understand, and obviously I don't get too involved with, but yeah, you kind of understand that things like that are going to happen, and you don't necessarily want to see your close friend leave and go to a different team, but you also know that this is a business and that stuff happens. So we also trust that our upstairs is going to do what's best for this team, and that they're going to do what it takes that they think is going to help us win games. So we got to do our part and continue to grow and get better and not question things. Just trust the process like we've been doing and try to do our best to help this team win.
Adam, how much has COVID and all of the cautions, all of the restrictions changed your life, both personally and as a football player?
Well, yeah, it's been a lot different, but on the field, no different. It's still football. Obviously, meetings, all that. It's all the same. There might be some different things. We got to do some virtual and some smaller group sizes and things like that. And all the testing, it definitely adds to your day and things you got to think about. But at the end of the day, at least we're still playing football and able to be around our teammates and play this game we love. But yeah, it hasn't changed a whole lot. Just things are kind of shifted around a little bit, and a little bit of added thinking throughout the day of making sure you got your tracker on you and get tested before a certain time and all that. But at the end of the day, it's still football.
What time do you get tested in the morning?
You got to be in there before like 10 o'clock, I think it is. But I usually just on my way into the building in the morning, 6:30 or so, I'll hop in there and get tested before I get in the building. That way, it's just kind of routine. Off days are the tough ones because you forget that you got to go to the building even on an off day and make sure you get tested.
How about how much has it changed life at home? Do you have to be careful around your family at all?
No, no, not really. Just because it's during the season, anyways. You're already busy, and you're not doing a whole lot because you're so busy. So, if it was the off season, it'd be a different deal. But right now, it's pretty similar to what we always do. My boys are still going to school, doing those things. But yeah, we haven't had it affect us too much.
How old are your boys?
We got 2 and a 4-year-old, so they're just in preschool, but a couple days
Yeah.
a week.
And so they actually go to a physical school right now, right?
They are, yep, yep. So they're
Yeah.
they're my oldest, my 4-year-old goes 3 days a week, and then my 2-year-old goes 2 days a week. So and then they're in like smaller class sizes, and you got to do a little bit different drop offs. So they're not in big groups and things like that. So it's a little bit different for them, but it's keeping them safe and us safe and other families safe. So that's good.
You say you got to trust the process. You got to trust that the people at those schools are taking all the precautions.
Yeah, they,
And
they
that's
definitely are. They're doing a great job. It adds a lot of work for them, having to come meet us at the door and grab each kid and have different drop off times and doing all that. But they do a great job. We're thankful for that. I know my wife is thankful for it because it's a little bit of relief for her not having to have them full time every single day. So it's all good.
You've always been the type of guy, at least the way I have looked at you and know you just a little bit. You've always been the type of guy who's so grateful for where you are, what you have, and particularly where you have come from. You were a gigantic underdog coming out of college. And I wonder now, as you go through your season and you look forward to Thanksgiving, how much does that mean to you? And do you try to take time every year and do some stuff in the community and really try to help people who might not have as much as you do?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main focus of our foundation. My wife and I started the Thielen Foundation a few years back, and that was the whole purpose of it is to help the people that need it the most, that don't have the resources, opportunities that we grew up with, that we have been blessed to have, and we make that a priority. And we also try to instill that in our kids, and obviously this year's different, but usually they come with us to these different events that we do. The Thanksgiving turkey giveaway that Jenny O does a great job donating a bunch of turkeys. Last year they donated 1,000. This year they're donated 2,000. So unfortunately we weren't able to be there this year to hand them out because we really enjoy getting out in the community and being involved physically. But obviously this year's a little bit different. But again,
How were you able to do it this year? How did you give away the turkeys this year?
yeah, so Jenny O donated them, and the people that help us run our foundation, kind of set it all up through the Salvation Army, and they were still able to pretty much do the same thing we did last year. Just my wife and I and our boys weren't able to be there to physically hand them out. So again, it's unfortunate, but we feel that in this time it's needed more than ever, and there's probably a lot of people that have never needed help before that now need it. So we wanted to make sure that we were still doing that and helping families, have a good Thanksgiving dinner and be able to spend a little bit of time with their family.
That's the thing that I think a lot of people really don't see is that there's probably 15 or 20 people on your team and on every team in the league that have either something through their foundation or something that guys will just do in the local community, especially at this time of year. For as long as I've covered the NFL, it's always been really impressive to me that, especially at this time of year, guys do things and really do a lot of very, very generous things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually it's pretty wild, how many guys make that a priority, that on their off day, they're doing community service, they're getting out in the community and serving, whether they have a foundation or not, they want to help. And we've had plenty of guys come out to our different events and help us out. I remember when I was a young player, and all the older guys that had foundations and we're doing so much in the community. We were able to go and help them as well. So it's kind of a cool tradition that the NFL has. I mean, I know every team has just several guys that people don't even know all that they do. And especially for us, we don't have a whole lot of off time, and for guys to give up that time to go serve these communities that they're not even from, that they don't really know that well, and for them to do that I think is extremely impressive and noteworthy.
It had to be kind of odd this week that you get home from Chicago at whatever time, probably 4 in the morning, and then Tuesday's your off day. And it doesn't matter if you haven't gotten much sleep, that's your day that you can actually do some of these things. So what did you do on Tuesday? What sort of activities were you able to do?
Yeah, so we did have that was yesterday. We did have our turkey giveaway. Again, we weren't able to be there, but just did some media for that, trying to promote that and just show how great Jenny O is to this community, and Salvation Army and all that they're doing, trying to give them the credit they deserve for all they're doing in this community, especially during these holiday seasons. But then yeah, just try to spend time with family, try to get a little nap in while the boys were in school, and get ready for today to get back to work.
I'll end with this. I've asked a bunch of players this year during the course of the year how weird it is to play either with no fans or very few fans. And I wonder whether it has any impact on how you actually play the game. Let's take Monday night, for instance, in a kind of a desolate Soldier Field where, you've played some games there and it's loud and angry and very partisan toward the Bears. So what is it like to play either with no fans or very few?
Yeah, definitely different. Miss having packed stadiums, that's for sure. But at the same time, it's your job. It is what it is. You got to figure out to find a way to get bring your own energy. We talk about that a lot this year because you're so used to having the crowd that kind of creates that for you. You don't have to get up for game day when you have a packed stadium of 60,000 fans. There's no extra motivation you need. But this year's just a lot different. You don't have that adrenaline. You don't have that emotion from the fans that creates so much emotion on the field. So it is different, but you got to find a way. That's what we do as athletes, as competitors. You adjust, you adapt, and you overcome.
We'll end with this, Adam. You guys obviously come up from being 1-5. You're now 4-5, and now you've got a rarity. You've got 3 straight games at home in your season. And I wonder, does it feel like on the inside that you guys have kind of saved your season and that you've got a real chance now to make the playoffs?
Well, I know that we feel that we are in a position now that we have an opportunity. Yeah. But I don't think anybody's changing their mentality. We know how difficult it is to win in this league, whether you're at home, away, playing a team that's undefeated or a team that has no wins. It is difficult to win in this league. I heard another player talking about that. Someone was giving him a hard time about barely beating a team that wasn't have a great record, but it's like it doesn't matter in this league because it is difficult to win. So you got to focus, you got to grind every week, you got to pretend like every week is the Super Bowl because it does mean that much when you only play 16 games. You only get so many opportunities to win. So for us, that's kind of our mentality. Keep working, keep grinding, have that same mentality that we've had the last couple of weeks.
Adam Thielen, good luck against your old friend Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.